Hey again everybody, Northy is back for the round 11 review. This week was a mix of a few things, a few pleasant surprises, a few unpleasant surprises in terms of both tipping and our star powers / top team results. First off, we'll go through the tips because I don't want to do anything extra with it. I don't want to do what I did last week and tell my tips too quickly. However, I will show you my score. I ended up getting 5 out of 9. A few that looked like they could have gone my way, but just didn't. Such as the Adelaide-Richmond one. Adelaide went off to a flying start. I'm like, wow, I really managed to get it right this time. I managed to tip them having another standout performance. But the second half, they just lost it, which is disappointing to see. But at the end of the day, I'm not too stressed. Both sides are pretty decent this season. Adelaide, very surprising. I think they're a kind of up and down team. You don't know when they're going to strike, but when they do, they shock everybody. I managed to get Geelong right by just 10 points. Brisbane right by a fair bit. GWS didn't play as well as I thought. I just got beat from start to finish. Saints versus North, a lot closer than I thought, but again, I was right. Saints ended up getting away with that one. The Swans ended up beating Carlton. Carlton are kind of just kicking the can at the moment. In Sydney, they have enough skill and enough talent to bring it over the edge. The Dogs versus Melbourne. This was a pretty fun game to watch. I was wrong, as you can see right here. However, I was so shocked with how much better Melbourne looked compared to the Dogs. It was unreal. Their structure was beautiful, and obviously it was a little bit close to start, but you could see Melbourne were waiting to strike on the mistakes that the Dogs made. And although I think the Dogs didn't play up to their best standard, you got to hand it to Melbourne. This is the best I've seen them, or at least this game was the best I have seen them all season, by far. They looked really shaky going into this game. I didn't know whether they were going to bring their A grade, but they brought their A++ grade to this one. So the Dogs are going back to the drawing board, and there'll be a few things that they need to improve, including just basic skills. I don't think you'll catch them doing that too much more often this season, but Gold Coast came away with the win against the Hawks. Hawks have had a pretty shocking season, so good to see Gold Coast finally capitalising on a team they should be beating. I thought the Dockers were going to come over the Power, you know. The Dockers off a big win against Sydney. Power only a 1-point win against Collingwood. I thought maybe there was some fight in the Dockers, but they just lost it. They did. I don't know how else to describe it. And Essendon playing very, very well to what everyone expected from them this season. Essendon, 16-point win over West Coast, who are having a disappointing season, to be brutally honest. You could even argue that it's one of their worst seasons in a very, very long time. West Coast, I can't remember where they are in the 8, but I could imagine that they're not close to being towards out of the top 8 even, but they're probably close to the bottom, if not out of it. So 5 out of 9. I'm hoping next week will be a bit better. I won't go into that, otherwise I will just be completely ruining the point of the next preview round. However, we will go into our star powers first. Star powers hurt this week, boys. Star powers hurt. I'll show you what I actually used. I ended up using Green, Brodie Grundy, and then all these guys. Jordan Ridley disappeared. I don't know how else to describe what he did. Hugh McCluggage off to a really good start in the first quarter, then one disposal in the second quarter, and from there went missing. Joel Selwood had a pretty decent one, missed an easy goal that could have got me some extra points, which is a little bit disappointing. Clayton Oliver's staying. There's no doubt about it. Clayton Oliver is staying. I'm going to keep him in there. And Brodie Grundy, I'm forced to put out because unfortunately he's gone out with a shoulder injury that may see him out for a couple of weeks. I'm not sure how long, but it's disappointing. As you can see, I already had Paddy Cripps ready to go for the next week. But these ones probably change. I don't know whether I change this future. I'm not really seeing here, except for maybe one person that I could change him up with. Other than that, though, Hugh McCluggage has been pretty decent all season. I think just had the one off game. Rising will change. I just don't know who to just yet, but he is definitely going to be changed up very, very soon. But we go to the ladder. As you can see, rank 224. A very, very poor performance. Not good at all there. Putting me up to rank 142. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. As you can see, only the 507 points. 20th was 614. Over 100 points better than us. And I feel if Hugh McCluggage had a bit more of a better game, what he's usually putting up at this point in the season, if Brody Grundy didn't get injured, because he started off pretty well as well, he kicked their first goal after the abysmal first half they had, and if Jordan Ridley just played well, I don't know, I can't remember if Jordan Ridley had that much of an impact on the game, but Rising is always a tough one, and you got to find the right one every now and then, but he will be changing it up, I'm pretty certain. Now we go to top team, top 4. I've been struggling with this season. Bontempelli didn't have his greatest game, however, it was still a decent performance. As I said, Grundy got injured, so now he has to be changed up. Jared Lyons went really quiet. He went really, really quiet. And Rory Laird was decent, but not the best backman that you could really point out. I think there was a lot of better ones. Gold Coast were the ones who really capitalized over this time. Jack Lukosius had an amazing week, and we also go to Touk Miller in the midfield. Touk Miller played awesome. I think I'm going to switch up Jared Lyons to Jack McRae next week because I really don't think there's anyone more consistent than Jack McRae this season. And obviously I have to change up Brody Grundy for the next one. But top 4, really abysmal. Ranked 946, as you can see, only 305 game points. Top was 423, and everything else I cannot see. Well, I don't know where number 10 is, but he's going to be in there somewhere. I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's all we've gotten there. Hopefully next week we may be able to make a dent in this, but top 18 for me is usually where it's at. As you can see, we only made rank 84, but Cam Guthrie, this one hurt. Cam Guthrie is a story and a half. A lot of players in the forward lines ended up doing really, really well this week, except for one person in here. But, man, Cam Guthrie was a heartbreaker. Nothing by his fault. I think he just didn't pass a test at the start of the game or something. Him and, what's his name? Mark Blitzars. He and Guthrie both called out before the game started, like 10 minutes before. It was heartbreaking because Mitch Duncan was already out, so that hurt. But then we get Cam Guthrie called out as well, and I'm like, wow, that is horrible luck. Horrible, horrible luck. The midfield, obviously you had the few that, these two are probably the only ones that really performed to what they expected. This is a team that should be doing well, but it just didn't. Grundy you can't force, Guthrie you couldn't force, these two just went quiet. Tom Mitchell had a really quiet performance to what we're used to, especially against a Gold Coast team where you'd expect maybe he'd get his hands on the ball a bit more, but Jared Lyons, like, obviously his team won, and I don't think he would be complaining, but oh man, it was disappointing to see him not do too much. But I don't really have any faults with the backline. I would have liked a few of them to play a bit better. But Sydney's, the two backliners here for Sydney haven't done poorly for me at all so far. Jack Crisp has been really good. Heppel, I'm really glad I brought him in. Whitfield and Laird, I can't remember off the top of my head. But we go to the forward line, surprisingly decent this week. Isaac Heaney, I'm glad I had him in there. Jack Zeeble kicked a couple goals and did a few things here and there, as well as Jack Billings as he was playing against the Kangaroos. And obviously when you're a forward, playing against the Roos is going to be a little bit easier. Hipwood completely disappeared. I made a big mistake putting him in there. Bontempelli, as I said, in the top 4, had a pretty poor performance from what we're used to. But Taylor Walker, he started off really well, kicked a bunch of goals, and then wasn't as involved in the second half. But honestly, one of the better performances we've had from the forward line. It's tough to find the good forward line players sometimes. You got to find the ones that will get the ball often. Because often, when you rely on having players that try and only kick goals, you only expect them to get marks, kicks, and goals. Those are the 3 you can only hope for. If you've got a forward in there like Marcus Bontempelli, who can utilize all 5 stats, he can kick goals, he can kick the ball and hand pass the ball. He's good with both his feet and his hands. He can mark the ball, he can tackle. That is a perfect forward player for me. A perfect forward player. And that's why I have people like Jack Zeeble in there, because he's been playing the backline most of the season. And as you know, the Roos don't have too much force going their way, so the backline is often busy. So having Jack Zeeble in there is not a bad idea. It's just that one player every now and then that messes me up. But we go to the ladder, as I said before. Rank 84, rank 165 for the season, which isn't bad considering that we started late. Not at all. I think that's a pretty decent one. But as you can see, not what we're used to. Obviously, when we came 7th, I can't remember, I think it was round 9, round 8, round 9, somewhere around there. That was a big moment for us, and we haven't been able to rekindle that for a long time. So hopefully, next week is a little different, but I will come back with my changes for round 12, and I hope that you guys will join me for the next one. The AFL Let's Argue that you guys left some really good questions for, that will be coming up very, very soon. However, this is going to be the, I think, second or third video for the week before we get to the review. But let's hope that things go well for round 12. Thank you so much for tuning into this round 11 review. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you see and want to see more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.